Girls, what are hints you give that guys never understand? I'm so glad the girlfriend who would become my wife was super good about hints. Like on our first date when she wanted to let me know we should kiss, she said, "Can I kiss you?" and I instantly knew. Once while working at a haunted hayride, a girl and we're actors in it. In downtime between tractors, she told me she was going to pretend to be in a coma like Sleeping Beauty over behind a tree, and could only be awakened with a kiss from Prince Charming. I chuckled, hee hee, okay. A few minutes later she came back to the group, and sat around the fire with the group in silence. She never came back. The rest of the weekend, or any of the other weekends of the hayride. I was visiting Spain, staying at a small cozy hotel. After checking in, this kinda pretty receptionist comes to my room and says there was a mistake with my room rates and I overpaid by €10. So she can either buy me dinner tonight or give me €10 back. Poor girl was out of 10. I was on a date and we'd been waking through this forest walk by the river and it was quite romantic, so we were kissing. Eventually we stopped and got back to talking. I mentioned my really cute cat waiting at home and asked him if he'd like to meet Mo. He said yes, so we arrive back at my house and for the next half hour he sits on the floor playing with my cat. Eventually I had to tell him the cat was a ploy and I just really wanted to take him home. Pictures of Mo. I'm glad I read through these and realize I've never missed a hint because I've never had any. When I was about 16/17, my friend's parents went away. I had a massive crush on this guy and one night he invited me and another female friend round to watch a film with him and his friend. I had my plan set up and it was going better than expected when my friend and his friend started kissing and went outside for some air. I said I was hot and asked the guy I had a crush on would he mind if I took my top off. He just said no, go for it, and then carried on watching the film. I then asked if he could show me where the bathroom. We went upstairs and he pointed at it. I went for it and said, "Which bedroom is yours?" And he again pointed. Went in and sat on his bed. He still didn't take the hint and just said, "Hurry up in the toilet so we can finish watching the film." A good 10 years later, he messaged me on Facebook and said he'd just realized what I was hinting at. I can tell when a girl is flirting with my boyfriend, but he would always be oblivious to it at first, no matter how many examples I gave him. I know someone who is so friendly and bubbly it's very confusing, but I know she's not interested because hang out with her and her husband fairly often. Stuff like that has raised the threshold of might not actually be a hint so far that I don't respond to hints unless it's accompanied by knowledge that she is at least single, preferably looking. Before I was with my current boyfriend, I went up to him and asked him out. He thought it was a friendly thing because I'm out of his league. It got to the point that one day, while we were hanging out, I literally said, "Okay, we're dating now," because it took him 4 months and he was like, "Nice." We've been together for around a year and 3 months, give or take. My biggest worries as a guy are 1. Girls don't like guys like me, so I'm afraid to try my hand at romance. 2. It's not a hint, I just think it is, so if I try to act on it, I come off as a creep. Speaking as a guy, we do sometimes pick up obvious flirting, but some flirtation and hints we just don't get because 1. We can't believe a girl likes us, and 2. We don't want to make assumptions and seem like in a hole. 3. Or like a creep. 4. Or like a weirdo. 5. Or like, what the hell am I doing here? Guy here with something I've come to learn over the years. If she's a dry texter or very slow to reply when you know she probably isn't busy, chances are, she doesn't want to talk to you. Had this happen recently to me. We met as co-workers, found out we went to the same college. Semester ends, I get a new job/internship, she's moving away in the fall to go to a new school. I realize I'm carrying the conversations, decide to stop texting to see if she starts convo back up. Lo and behold, we haven't communicated in over a month. My advice, if it feels like you're interviewing her, she probably doesn't want the position. Not just guys, but anyone really. Giving short answers like yep and nope to every question means leave me the F alone. Yep. When I was younger I went late night swimming with this girl I knew, her roommate and another dude, then we stayed up, got drunk in her apartment, great time, fun night. They leave, we go in her room. We're in bed, only my shirt's off, she gives me a back rub, it's very nice, She asks if I want to give her one. I was like nah, and we went to sleep. That was around 25 years ago and I can't remember the girl's name, but sometimes I stop and fondly remember that night and think about what a f-ing dummy I am. Usually when I like a guy I find subtle ways to touch him, put my hand on his arm, etc. See, what some of the few positives I've seen. Back when I was going through my first big crush, I had all the signals aligned. She invited herself along, gave me her number without me asking, wanted to come to my house and hang out late night. And then I went for it and got shut down because I made things weird. We bounced back as just friends before the inevitable dead air, but, ugh. Reading. These hurt. I really love receiving flowers. This one time a nice lady asked if she could put me in her grocery cart and take me home. I'm over 6 foot and 220 pounds. I think I missed that one hint. I'm blunt as a used crayon. You can give the most blatant hint and I would miss it. Hey wanna f ha 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 ha, as a joke, right? Nah, I'm alright, thanks. You know, after reading this thread, maybe we men are not only bad at hints, but maybe women are also generally bad at giving them. It's every Redditor's dream. Girls are dropping hints they're not picking up on. When you kick him in the shin but he still doesn't notice that Janice only has 2 Uno cards left. Guys can be so thick SMH. Well, having short hair makes it hard. I hit on my football coach hardcore for about a year. Literally had to paint him a picture. I was attracted to him when he finally came over to discuss the playbook while my parents are away. He told me he thought I was just a really friendly lesbian. I'm currently crushing hard on one of my friends. I tried to be obvious but not too much. But here are the hints. I sent him. I invited him multiple times over my apartment to eat some homemade cake I baked especially for him in the morning before he came to my home. I invited him again multiple times to play some Mario Kart Wii, because I knew he would really enjoy. I tried to be next to him as much as I could. During class, I used to get off my computer to see what he was doing, then going to my other friends to not make it obvious, sitting right next to him. I knew he really liked memes. I sent him some. He loves games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, so I started to play. I really enjoyed it. He would give me advice as he is a fan of the Master of the Universe. I bought him a book talking about it. Maybe I'm being too reserved about my feelings, I don't know. When I was in college, I missed the hints some poor girl was putting on a fucking billboard for me to read. I was so clueless. I went to a small party with a girl from work. She invited me. I know, missed sign number 1. Her dad owned a brewery and we spent the night talking and laughing. She actually asked me if she could ride home with me from her own house. Again, I know. I very stupidly drive home. Pretty drunk for what was only one of maybe 2 times I've driven over the limit. It was 2 a.m. on back roads in the Appalachian Mountains. We didn't even pass a car going back to my place. My roommate is gone. I have the apartment to myself, but dumb awkward me ignores the signals being telegraphed to me, and I tell her she can sleep on the couch and I go into my room and sleep in my bed. 100% she wanted me to make a move and I was so oblivious that I didn't. The poor girl was so mortified that she no-showed her next shift at work and no one ever saw her again. I'm 4 years into a relationship with my girlfriend and we plan on getting married, so long-term things worked out. But definitely could have had a great night in college and totally blew it by not reading totally obvious signs. Wanna hang out sometime either in a friendly way or a lover way, it still means I'm fond of you, dude. I buy records from Barnes & Noble and I remember I couldn't stand this cute blonde who worked at the front counter. I felt like whenever I bought a record she did the white woman version of mansplaining each record I bought like I'm some dumb dum. One day I went with my brother and explained how much she annoyed me. She did it again in front of him. When we left the store my brother said, "You idiot, she likes you and she's trying to impress you." Turns out I was a dum-dum. I eventually asked her out and we dated for a few months. Long story longer, I'm so clueless I never catch the hints women throw at me. Guy here, just want to quickly give my 2 cents. To be honest, I'm sure a lot of guys do in fact take the hints. However, I'm sure every guy has had an experience where he was confident that a girl was dropping him hints, but it turns out she wasn't actually interested. and pursuing her only made her uncomfortable. A lot of guys see hints and look the other way, not because they're clueless, but oftentimes out of respect for the girl, not wanting to risk making her feel uncomfortable or creeped out. I was at a party years ago, and this girl I knew starts telling me there was a guy at the party she liked but couldn't find him. She proceeds to describe someone who looked exactly like me, even down to the clothes I was wearing. My response: I haven't seen him. In under 5 minutes, Elle imagined our meet cute, our first dates and our entire lives together. How did you not pick up yet that I'm way too much of a scaredy cat to approach you? And then there's me who has guys picking up hints that I'm not dropping. The unfortunate thing is when women are interested in a man but they don't want to seem too eager, they behave in exactly the same way that women who are not interested behave when they are trying to be nice. Here's a hint for the ladies. 1. Don't hint, be direct and obvious. Guys today may pick up on the hints but choose to ignore them because it's safer for us to assume you're being friendly than risk getting the message wrong and coming across as a creep/a hole and then being accused of sexual assault or some s if we try to make a move. 2. Follow number 1. As a guy who is shy, quiet even when comfortable and doesn't flirt due to both those attributes, I have to say to you women, and even men in some situations, please be a little more direct when the coy and subtle play isn't getting you where you want. I'm not saying that this is going to get you exactly where you want, but some people need to know what your intentions and motives are. Knowing these things can bring a big change in behavior and make it a little easier for both people to understand each other. Not everyone is good at or wants to play the guessing game. I was pining after this guy for over a year and he never got one of my hints. It got to the point where I just straight up walked up to him and said, listen, do you like me or not? Because I have been giving you so many hints this past year that I'm attracted to you. We dated for a bit after that and he told me he never realized that I was attracted to him because I was out of his league. What hints were you giving him though? Also curious about this. We're not stupid, we're cautious. It's social suicide to get this wrong in a lot of cases, and most of us have been burned by getting the wrong idea. I think the best advice for all genders, don't give hints, just say what you mean/want. I understand the dance, I guess I'm too old to beat around to bush. Wait, I think I've always just blown through it. These types of threads are always weird. Reason, because many of the women talk about their experiences giving hints that clueless guys never pick up on. However, they have no way of knowing whether the guys picked up on it or not. There are some dudes who simply are not interested in you. And when we are interested, how am I supposed to know you're interested if your hint is touching my hand when you hand me something? Very curious what us guys have missed, because to be honest, most us dumb AF with hints. I asked him to prom. He didn't get it. But we're getting married next year, so I've got that going for me. My man is still asking his brothers, so do you think she likes me? Girls need to understand that for every moment a girl has flirted with a guy and it not been noticed, there has been a moment for the guy in his life, where he thought he was being flirted with, acted on it, and got shot down horribly, sometimes in a humiliating, scarring way. I suspect many men have emotional scars from this. It doesn't even have to be romantic, it can just be social. I remember at university, I was speaking to this girl in a tutorial and I was nice to her, and she was nice to me. Just exchanged a few words. Then I was out with my friends a few days later in the students' union. I saw her, and I said, hey X. She looked at me like I was something that a dog vomited up. And that hurt like absolute F. I was just being nice, and through her body language she told me what she thought of me in a way that was unmistakable. That's just one random story. I have many moments, good and bad. But S like that sticks with you. Body language can be such a devastating way of communication, because we all understand it and frequently it's very blunt. These events can make you less willing to put yourself on the line. So, just keep this in mind. If you like someone, why not make yourself vulnerable instead and just tell them? Because just dropping subtle hints seems to me to be wanting to have your cake and eat it. You want something to happen but you aren't prepared to put your dignity on the line. You want him to put his on the line by giving him hints that he should make the move. But sometimes women who are not interested make similar hints. Therein lies the issue. Sometimes you might think you are being obvious, but it's possible the guy has acted on those same hints before and got it wrong. I've given up giving hints. I just tell them how I feel in plain words now. I didn't give any hints. I am straightforward and firm. When he hugs me and I refuse to let go and he just disengages and go bye girl. Wait. That's him rejecting me. LOL. I'm honestly surprised the top comment wasn't some variation of clearly I'm not interested so please leave me alone. Or, said more poetically, no, I don't want your number. No, I don't want to give you mine. And no, I don't want to meet you nowhere. No, don't want none of your time. Sending photos of myself looking good. I feel like my boyfriend never gets it LOL edit, so I kept it vague since I didn't think anyone would see this but when I say looking good, I don't mean just makeup and stuffed, I mean like photos of me in a more sexual manner. I talked to my boyfriend and it's not that he didn't get it he just didn't know how to react. Thanks anyways to the replies. I'm not a lass but I am gay and can say that some guys pick up on my hints easily, a little too easily if you ask me, whilst others not so much so I'd say that it depends more on the receiver of the hint than the giver of the hint, or indeed the hint itself. But as I have said, I am not a lass, so do take this with a grain of salt. As a guy, I think the answer is just hints in general. Or just don't take anything as a hint because it's probably not a hint and she will just call you creepy. Here goes a tip, if we don't get it, stop using the hint. That is actually a good tip. This thread is funny cause all the men are expecting to hear about hints that tell them when a woman likes them. And all the women are listing hints they give when they just want to be left alone. Not me checking the thread in hopes to never miss a hint I won't receive. Where the clit is. I carry a diagram in my pocket. I also have a map of Middle-earth and a timeline for Star Wars in my pocket. All of these things come up in conversation so often I just keep visual aids with me. I'm a lesbian but a hint other girls never get is Godam spoiling her with gifts. Me, oh, look at the Valentine's donuts Krispy Kreme added to their menu. Those look so good. I'd like to try them. Him, aha. Me, looks through supermarket flyers. 2 stores have a special on rose bouquets this week. Him, me, I love roses, but it's been so long I've nearly forgotten what they smell like. Repeats the above a few times throughout the week. Me, I have a gift for you and I'm giving it to you early so you know where the bar is set. Him, thanks. Valentine's Day arrives. Him, happy Valentine's Day. Hands me a card from the dollar store that says, to my dear friend on Valentine's Day. Me, drives to Krispy Kreme. Buys donuts. Drives to supermarket. Buys roses. Goes home and eats donuts in front of him. Does not offer to share. Mildly related, but a couple months ago a guy, was standing outside my work having a smoke on the sidewalk as I watched a mail Uber delivery guy pass by. He was really fat, important to story, walking extremely slow, and staring at his phone in one hand while guiding his bike with the other hand that is to say, in addition to his massive backpack he was taking up a lot of space. A female delivery driver comes scooting up the sidewalk behind them. It appears she's ESL. She's riding an electric scooter. Which, I mean, is kind of rude in itself, since you're not supposed to use them on sidewalks. She attempts to get around the guy in front of her but can't find a way to get around him. He looks up from his phone to see her and instantly tolls his eyes, puts his phone away so he can start wagging his finger in the girl's face. She tries to just scoot past him, but he steps into her path and begins to say like aren't you aware you're not supposed to do that? What is your problem? You need to learn how to use a sidewalk. She doesn't make eye contact, just tries to get by him, no response. Then he goes, anyway, you're pretty so can I get your number? I burst out laughing out of pure shock. WTF? In my mind I was like, when women say things like men are pigs I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they mean. I saw like, complete and utter disrespect for people around him while intensifying this disrespect when it was toward a woman. Oh, I know this one, the hint is no. Me, then 25 female, BFF, 25 female, and BFF coworker, 26 male, are going on a weekend trip to Vegas. The three of us go get coffee so I can meet the coworker before the trip. Before the meetup my friend had told about him and I asked can I F him? She said sure. So at the coffee place friend finds a point in conversation to prompt me to tell a crazy sex-related story I have. We all laugh. I also drop into the conversation that I'm bringing condoms to Vegas cause who knows what might happen and coworker responds good idea. We go on the trip and friend goes to get our food order. I mentioned that it's going to take her almost an hour. What should we do? While laying on the bed in paint me like a French lady pose. He says he saw they have blah blah movie on demand. About 5 minutes into the movie I not so nonchalantly wonder out loud if I will get a chance to use the CS since we are leaving early tomorrow and have plans all night that night. He goes huh. When we get back from the trip we drop him off first and the second we pull away my friend asks if he was good. I told her I guess he wasn't interested. Bummer, but I'm not in the business of sleeping with people who don't want it, so I wasn't gonna push harder than I did. I explained the above to her and she agreed he knew and just wasn't interested. Friend calls the next day laughing her ass off. She had asked coworker why he didn't go for it with me, and he asked what she meant. He genuinely didn't pick up on any of it. He even said he thought I was being inconsiderate talking about my plans to find someone to sleep with. While lying next to him in a bed, he said he was planning to make a move but chickened out because he thought I would turn him down. Honestly, most of the reasons guys aren't getting these hints is because they're conditioned from a young age that no girl would actually like them and that it was some sort of stupid game. This may be a bit iffy, so take it with a grain of salt, but literally, like in my experience, giving really nice compliments and in general seeming really interested to chat, or regretful that she didn't get to hang with / join you before. Like, I don't mean saying nice job, cute shirt, or something. I mean like those really caring, hitting ones like hey I think you're really talented, you should go for it. Because generally, I think most girls are careful about not being too nice because some guys take literally any tiny positive interaction as romantic interest and that can be really uncomfortable and awkward. So take that as maybe that's a hint and I should keep talking and see where it goes. Unless I actually close the book I'm reading, which has only happened once in my life, I don't wish to speak further with you. When I'm stressed about work, don't just feed me, I want real deep talk about the problem. But pizza is good too, only Pizza Hut. Don't stop doing that and he immediately moves or does something different. Headphone, very visible, Tiffany blue headphones, go the F away.